Elizabeth would rather be doing anything other than heading to another new and unknown. The car swerved. Gravel pelted the window. They shot over an embankment. "What are you doing?" Elizabeth yelled. The driver scowled at her in the mirror, but kept going. "We're taking the winter road to Tuck," Margaret explained. "This isn't a road, it's a river," Elizabeth yelled. "In winter, the river is the road. It's perfectly safe. Big trucks drive it all the time," Margaret reassured her. Was the dream that had startled her awake last night a premonition, Elizabeth wondered? Crackling and popping beneath the car menaced Elizabeth. She glanced at Margaret. She looked unperturbed by the deafening threat. Finally, they reached Tuck and the home where the artisans were gathered. After introductions were made inside, Elizabeth picked up her camera. She watched a woman work on a piece of deer hide. "Moose hair tufting," Margaret told her. Elizabeth picked up a jar of tufts. "Is moose hair usually so bright?" she asked. "Roots or plants? The moose says what is right," the woman said in what was simply the perfect answer. She moved on to a woman who worked on a flower of flattened porcupine quills. Elizabeth expected the cultural important arts of beading, porcupine quill, and moose hair tufting to create a special connectivity between the artist and their work. But she hadn't anticipated the startling sense of timelessness that the techniques passed down from mother to daughter, from generation to generation, created in their modern work. As if no past, no present, no future. Simply a single, seamless stream. A piece of traditional Delta braid, the centering line in an exhibit grouping, looked natural within the collage's modernity. Elizabeth was drawn into the crow. Her internal interrogator questioned her. She hadn't anticipated the women's talents today, hadn't expected to understand just how wrong it was for them not to be included in the exhibitions. Later, Margaret came by and picked up photos from the day's evaluation. "Well," she said, "each is a masterpiece that tells others of their world. There's no better use for art than that," Elizabeth mused. "So what are you going to do about it then?" "There's nothing I can do, Margaret. You know that." "What has made you so afraid of taking on a challenge that you are defeated before you even start?" Margaret asked. To dredge up the past, to hide it away, the constant watcher hovered, as if waiting for an answer. Later, left with the residue of Margaret's question, Elizabeth gave in. The first time she saw Julian was at his exhibition titled Ode to Fashion. One got a whiff of the mad genius in the raw menace and violent colors of his work. But it wasn't an art easily liked. When Julian came in, excitement shot to the rafters in a crescendo of sound, then surged forward. In the adulation, he became physically larger, just as his sleeve is given dimension when an arm is slid in. The second time she saw him, he was a guest lecturer in her university studio class. She sensed his energy behind her, and her hand became unsteady. "Your painting is as pretty as you are, but it's simplistic," he said. He picked up a spatula. "Texture gives dynamicism," he told her, and took her hand. Movement synchronized. Touch became language. Then he let go. How many people get their life changed in one phone call? Elizabeth thought the night Julian called to say, "Let me make it up to you by taking you for dinner." A subtle dance of seduction began. Desire, previously deliciously confined by newness, now released, lured her further into its web. A glittering life given, a golden cage. It wasn't many months before she moved in with Julian and quit painting and quit university as well. Her whole life, she'd battled for identity as an artist, and now, without much fuss, she declared her dream ended. Without the single-mindedness that chasing a lifelong dream took, Elizabeth drifted and eventually succumbed to another's vision of who she was.